welcome back to Shoulder Tap with Ben from the Risk Team. Ben, how's it going today?
It's going really well, Andre. Having a great day. Feeling good. Got some good sleep. Things are
Good.
warming up here in Texas. It's about time to hit the lake, go float the river. I don't know. I'm getting that itch. I want to go do something fun on the water now that we got 90-degree days here. So
90
I'm good,
degrees.
man. I'm doing well. How about you?
Wow. I'm okay. It's not 90 degrees up in Chicago today, but it is pleasant. I will say that. So let's get right into it. Yesterday was a wild one. This morning was a wild one as well. Kind of looks like we're in a range for the time being. How are we looking on the board today for as far as our funded traders?
Yeah, we look good today. A lot better than yesterday. Yesterday is, as you
Ooh.
might expect, for anyone that's been around long enough or seen these shoulder tap segments, in the aftermath of an FOMC day or CPI, any one of those big market moving economic releases. As you might expect, a lot of people, put on positions into it, small or
Ooh.
large, and get blown up. You hate seeing it, especially when several people that might have been up money on the morning. If you're able to make money during some chop ahead of an economic release like that, to give it all back is just a crime. But it's a lesson that everybody's got to learn. You got to find that out for yourself and just hopefully don't repeat that. So lots of accounts went from green to red yesterday, unfortunately.
Come on.
Of course, some people made some money on it, but that's far outweighed by the number of people that got wrecked into it. So that's why we recommend people flat into those numbers, let things settle down. There's going to be a great opportunity afterwards. The market has to readjust to that supply demand shock one way or the other. So there's always going to be opportunities. There's always going to be another trade right around the corner. Just a reminder to be flat into those numbers next time around.
Okay, I didn't know that people were really going. Now you say they're putting on, they're going into the FOMC with position. Are they doing with some size too? I mean, are we talking, 5 and 10? Like, what are they hoping
Yeah,
to
yeah.
happen? Are they hoping to hit just catch one? I guess is what.
Yeah, I think Mick mentioned it a few days ago, earlier this week. Nathan had just put on I think he had an 8 lot position on. It was either 8 or 10 contracts going into that. Something seemingly benign. I think it was Canadian GDP. There might have been something else that was U.S. related that had even less of an impact historically. But something about that number, I don't know if the algorithms caught it or what, but it's just a lightning fast move to the downside. And we got caught and went way past the DLL. That's what happens in live accounts. You're going to have slippage when the liquidity
Yep.
evaporates like that, and got caught on the wrong side and was more than double the daily loss limit. So
Oof,
tough
oof,
lessons
oof,
to
oof.
learn, and I think it's really damaging psychologically too, because Nathan, for example, just ended up blowing the account up entirely today. You see
Ay,
that
ay,
happen.
ay.
You take a big loss, try to recover it. Chase those losses and end up losing the account. So some hard truths about this game. It's brutal, but you got to learn from those lessons and move on. And that's going to be one of our themes for today for our trading cards is learning lessons from history. We've got kind of a surprise. Hopefully,
Oh,
some people that have been fans of Shoulder Tap for a long time should recognize one of these names. We've got a don't call it a comeback, but I'll give some quick shout outs on the
oh, yeah. Let's
for
do
what
it.
we have
I see.
on the board today. We'll give some quick numbers. Nicholas T, shout out to you holding it down for the Dallas Traders up 2,500. His live account today. Pinson is. I'm sure we spoke earlier about Pinson was up about 24,000. Currently sitting up 18,000. Still in a trade. Short 8 contracts in gold. That is still red. We got very close to liquidating that trade because it almost gave away
Oh,
all of the profits. At one point I think it was red $11,000. That's just criminal, giving up more than half of your wins when you're up north of $20,000. On the risk team, we don't view that as acceptable. That is
yep.
reckless trading, and you're not allowed to be reckless in a firm, an account that is funded by our prop firm. So
Correct.
that's part of my job, Mick's job. We manage the firm's money in that way, and we want to see you win, but ultimately you have to capture those profits and take them home for them to be real. So
Yes, you
still
do.
monitoring Pinson. It looks like that based on where gold's at right now. Looks like he's still kind of red, but we're leaving the trade on to see if something ends up happening good for it. We'd love to see him go up more, or at least capture the bulk of those profits for the day. So currently up about 18,000 for Pinson. Brian P up 4,100 in the live account. Good to
Nice.
see. Prince U up 3,200. Tyler H up 3,100. And we've got Lucas P, kind of a standalone in the XFA, up 16,400. Not a lot of big green in the XFAs today, but that one kind of stands out. So make sure you capture that, Lucas. If you're listening, take some of that home with you. At least half is our
Absolutely.
kind of our guideline. And not to be overshadowed, the live account, our live house account.
Hey.
Andre, you guys have been killing it with that lately, putting on good trades and up 4,700 in that account today. So good to see it. Just a quick word on that account, something I've noticed tracking that throughout the day. Love to see
Please.
you guys, lock that up or be extremely selective in the afternoons. I'm seeing profits, taken in the morning on some morning trades, and then maybe we take something, just afternoon or during power hour and end up giving some of that back or even go red. So I'm all about power hour. I understand the opportunities that show up in that market,
Right.
but be selective because we monitor those trends, and over time started to see that trend
Huh.
of profits in the morning, giving some back in the afternoon. So just a
Wow.
word of advice for
Great
you
stuff,
guys.
Ben. Great stuff. Really appreciate that. So get a little bit more defensive in the afternoons with the house account. I do like that feedback. Getting feedback directly from the risk team. How about that? This is pretty cool. Really appreciate that. Thank you for monitoring it. Thanks for doing everything you guys do. This is really good stuff. Yeah, let's get right into it then.
All
Let's
right,
get good
great.
stuff.
First up, we've got Hughes. Hughes B, our
Whoa.
famous, or
Whoa.
or at least as far as the risk team is concerned, a little bit infamous trader out of France. For those of you, I know we've got a lot of new viewers, people that have just started tuning in recently. We'll give you kind of a brief history lesson on Hughes. Hughes is a big time, high flying NASDAQ trader that
Yeah.
made a ton of noise in the Topstep community and in the prop firm community period last fall. So during September, October, November, managed to run his live 150K live account up to north of $100,000 in
Oh,
profits. Took at that time the largest payout in Topstep history of 50K. He took a cool 50K payout, total payout of $62,000 over that period of time. But this guy is, if there was ever a home run swinger, it's Hughes. He has got the stomach to let trades ride out to $20,000 or $30,000. I'll give you kind of a quick overview of those live account trades. He put up 29,000 one day, 28,000 another, 17,000, 13,000. So he's someone that can stomach those large moves and ride him out to. Looks like his sweet spot is kind of that $25,000 to $30,000 mark. That's where he says enough is enough, and I
wow.
got to take this home. But there was he ended up losing that account. I believe it was the end
Yep.
of December. Ended up blowing the account up. So took a significant amount of the money out of the market, which we will always sing your praises for, Hughes. It's probably the best thing we could say about his performance in that live account is taking 62 grand out of it. That is no small feat. Really impressive to take that kind of profits out of the live markets. And he ended up going on a 9-day losing streak. Almost blew that account. Ended up recovering that. With a $28,000 winner in December, and then it was a kind of a quick trickle beyond that. It's impressive when you get on tilt how quickly you can, or how many days in
Yep.
a row you can actually lose, right? For someone that shows such promise and really profitable trading and jaw-dropping trading, for that matter,
Yeah.
to then go on just what is almost statistically impossible, right? Level of losing. It's tough to see. Hughes was in the account for 75 days, over 75 days in that live account. So that's not by accident. We know Hughes is a good trader, but he got, tilted, emotional. There's things that could be going on in the personal life, probably a combination of things that end up leading to that account. So that was, those were some of the highlights of Hughes in that live account, running that account up to over 100 grand in a short order, about 60 days. And since that point in time, since he lost that live account, we haven't talked much about him. He's been off the
Right.
radar, been kind of, I would say treading water at best, kind of dink and dunking in some XFAs, churning through some accounts. But recently has gotten back on a winning streak. He's been in this 150K XFA trading about 18,000, or excuse me, 1,800 a day an average
Hmm.
P&L, 75% winning days. That's not on a huge body of data. We've only got 6 trading days completed for him, so impressive over that period of time. Obviously, we want to see continued and steady success in this
Hmm.
account before we consider calling Hughes back up. But he's high winning percentage trader. He
Yeah.
finds his spots in the markets, picks his spots, puts on some size, and keeps moving. He also trades pretty frequently, 34 trades a day on average in this account. So he's making a lot of a lot of plays during the day, averaging $254 on the winners and $667 on the losers. So, of course, we'd love to see those turned around, but when you're able to string together, 10, or I think in this account, his longest streak has been 14 winning trades in a row. You can make up for that kind of risk reward skew. So, yeah, we're excited to see Hughes back. I'm doing some profitable trading, hoping to see him take a payout and start building back towards the type of trader that he's capable of being. I will say we saw something yesterday. He was one of the ones that got caught on the wrong side of the FOMC, had a position going on
Oh boy.
into that number, which is tragic, really, because he
Oh
had
boy.
about $7,000 in profit leading into that. So
Come
I'm someone, I'm
on.
kind of a hardliner. I've lost money in economic releases more than I care to admit. So I just have a hard rule against it personally. I always recommend people stick away, just stay flat until things settle down. But if you are going to have a position for whatever reason, fundamentals, the perfect trade is aligning in your eyes. Go with a fraction of the size that you would want, right? Either
Yes.
one contract or micros is got to be the practice, because the amount of a stop loss you're going to have to not get blown up on it is going to be pretty wide. And it's just not advisable. If you feel like you have to do it with incredibly small size, is my recommendation. But yeah, Hughes ended up hitting his daily loss limit in this account as a result. So that that's been kind of the
Brother.
plague of his trading activity recently, and he did something almost identical, even more egregious when he was in live account.
Yep.
It was up 18 grand, had a size position on into it, ended up hitting the daily loss limit for that day, 6 months ago or whenever it was. So um, that's my number one recommendation. You just have to learn from those mistakes, right? You got to journal. You got to find a way to be disciplined enough to say, okay, I touched the stove. It was
Yep.
scalding hot, right? I got third degree burns because I had a $24,000 swing in my P&L the wrong way intraday. So got to find a way to sear that into your memory, and refrain from clicking the mouse and putting yourself in a similar position where something similar could happen. Because again, Hughes is a fantastic trader, but when you're putting yourself in positions where you're going to blow through all the progress you made for 2 weeks straight,
Come
it's going to be
on.
really tough to be consistent and profitable in this
Yes.
game. So, Andre, what kind of thoughts do you have on Hughes reemerging in his current trading?
Like that. Well, I must admit, I was not expecting. Well, I knew the name was coming up because I do get to preview the trading cards before they come out. But when I did see Hughes, I go, "Is it the same Hughes?" And I got to ask, what happened? How did the process happen? I know we took him off. He busted out of his live account. What was the process like for him coming back? Did he start right back in a combine and just work his way up to a live funded? Tell me the story, how this all came about.
Sure. So he took a little bit of time off, not as much as I
Yeah,
probably would have liked to see or would recommend for someone that hits 116,000 in this live account or whatever he eclipsed, and then blow all
yeah,
that out. Some of that was with payouts, to be fair, right? He took a considerable amount of payouts, but when you go through something like that, especially with the amount of money you made, I think it's important to take several weeks off, a month off, whatever you got to do to take care of yourself mentally, maybe even see a therapist. There's nothing wrong with therapies.
right.
Trading psychology is a big part of the game when you get up to that level. So, he took about 2 weeks off. Never really gave it a hard break, I think, but he wasn't, really ripping through accounts. I would say, he was taking a week or two at a time. A couple times made it to an XFA. Busted out of those. So thankfully he wasn't spending thousands of dollars on accounts or anything like
Right.
that. He was trying to get back in the swing of things, and I'm very hopeful that he can put that together. Yesterday was not a very positive sign, doing some of the things that got you burned last time, but we're hopeful. We love a comeback story. We always believe in our traders, especially he already did the hard part, right? He already proved that he can grow an
Right.
account to
Right.
$100,000. I don't personally see a reason why Hughes can't be a two or a $300,000 per year trader, taking that amount of profit out of the market.
Yeah.
But in order to do something like that, you have to stop yourself from taking those massive drawdowns, to stop yourself from losing 10 or 20 grand in a day, because more than I know he has a daily loss limit, and there were notes. I was looking through some notes from months ago when we were talking about this, that those daily loss limits are the only reason that he was in the account for as long as he was, and that's true. Having that speed bump in there is helpful. That's why we have it as part of our program. But Hughes is proof that if you're truly tilted or not in the right
Yes.
headspace, you can just hit that daily loss limit day after day and still blow through an account. So,
Come on.
um,
Yeah.
find a way to stop chasing that dragon and create a profit target, right? I love
Right.
that we have that as part of our TopstepX platform. It's a fantastic feature that you can lock yourself out. I see, $2,000 in green on the screen. I'm going to hit the lockout button. I'm going to
Yep.
go, take a nap, go to the grocery store, go do anything except give
Anything.
that money back. There's a lot of positive things you can do besides trade that money away. So set a profit target. I know he's a big
Yeah.
swinger. Maybe that number for him is 5 or 10 grand, but heck, I mean, the number of times he hits 10 grand and then comes back down to the daily loss limit, you're never going to have big, consistent success doing this. It's always going to be kind of treading water, only pulling home, 50 to 100 grand a year, which again is good money. But I know
Yes.
based on what Hughes is doing and what he's capable of doing that he'd like to eclipse that. And that's why he's blowing the account, because he's trying to, doing that, we call it extrapolating, right? Doing that math in his head of, what, heck, I did 30 grand in a day. If I do that twice a month,
Yep.
bada bing, bada boom, I made 500 grand on the year. And chasing that dragon is just going to end you, you're going to end up in the ditch. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's where Hughes is at now. Positive to see him back on a trading card, but a long ways to go to get back to where he was.
Good stuff, Ben. All right. Well, you make sure to keep us up to date with how that story develops. I know we've tried getting a hold of him. He's been a little bit elusive, if you will, but it's good to see he's back trading and making some profits. But sounds like some of those habits have not fully gone away. We'll see how this plays out. Ben, please keep us up to date on how the Hughes story develops, because maybe he did learn something during that break. Who knows? We'll see. Keep us up to date. Let's go on to the next one.
Yep, let's move on to Pin Sin, someone
Since
that
then
we
a lot.
mentioned earlier. And I'm having a little bit of deja vu, actually, when I've been digging into the trajectory of Hughes's profile on that live account. Pin Sin is in a 150K live account currently, and
Uh-huh.
on I want to say a downwards path, because they're treading water kind of around what the balance was that we transferred them into. But for having traded 38 days completed in this account, we should number one have taken a payout. And Pinson, if you're listening, that's my uh, number one takeaway for you is to take a payout, lock in today's trading profits, take a payout, take that max payout, right? Take 50% of it out, and let's trade smaller, because right now we're not looking good on our statistics. 23% winning days, 33% winning trades, and having an average daily P&L of minus 1,000. Something that was made me want to beat my head against the wall was realizing their best day that they had, having an $18,000 day, which is huge, to then go on immediately afterwards and hit 9 straight daily loss limits, which totals to $27,000 in the red. So 2 weeks of trading, giving up all $18,000 and then some, actually going red from that point, is man, that's brutal. It's brutal on your psychology. It's brutal on your time, right? It's now you've lost money for 2 weeks of work that has probably been stressful, not fun, all of the different adjectives I can come up with. So somewhat similar to Hughes, just trading too much size, taking an average of 10 lots per trade. And a lot of those blowouts are on one trade, right? You put on one
Is that
trade, 10
right?
lots, you're on the wrong side of it, and it's over in a couple minutes. What do you have to say, Andre?
No, I'm saying, is that right? A lot of these blowouts are just on one trade. That's what we're looking at. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
there's a couple of them that are on one trade, one or two trades. I mean, the average loser being $2,200. You're almost knocking out your daily loss limit with a single losing trade. That's just not enough runway, because clearly when you're making these types of big winning days, $18,000, $10,000. Clearly you can analyze the market and put on a trade that is profitable and let that run out, let it work in your favor. But if you're doing so with such size that your idea never has a freaking chance to tie its laces, then you're not going to get to where you want to be, and your trades aren't going to work out, and you're going to get depressed and turn into this this spiral that we've been talking about on Shoulder Tap today. So we don't want to see traders get in that death spiral. We love big winning days, but I'd much prefer to see a $5,000. Similar advice to what we talked about with Hughes. Set a $5,000 profit target for the day. If you hit $5,000, you're shutting it down and you're walking away, right? Of course, you're going to cap yourself out. You're not going to have those $18,000 days, but that's okay, right? You want to stabilize that P&L curve, because having these massive peaks and canyons off the other side are it's impossible to sustain that long term. So it's good that you're capable of putting up big winners, but at
Yeah.
some point you got to say, pre-plan and say enough is enough, and that's all I'm going to do for the day. Also,
Hmm.
taking a payout. He could take some notes from Hughes in that way. Take a freaking payout, pay yourself. Otherwise, what are we even doing here? So
Great
that's
question.
similar to what we saw from Hughes. Interesting point about Pinson is very diverse product trading. So trading everything from equities, energies, metals, currencies, trading the yen futures, trading copper, trading crude oil, obviously the Nasdaq and ES, gold. So trading a breadth of things. I think if whichever product you land on, generally when I see that diversity of product trading, that tells me that it's probably hopefully a setup that they're looking for, and they're sort of product agnostic, and they're just looking for a particular setup in a particular market, it doesn't matter which market it is. So I like that style
Interesting.
of trading. I think that's healthy. But again, if you're going in with 10 lots and it's a great idea, maybe in a lot of cases it was a fantastic idea, you just didn't give it a chance to work out. So knock it down a little bit, trade smaller, 1 or 2 lots, and be comfortable. Build those $5,000 days, and come away with a nice, healthy, winning month. That's what we want
Well
to see from
said.
Pinson.
Well said, Ben. And also, don't blow out the day on just one trade. What?
Yeah,
There goes your day. There goes your entire day. What first trade you blow out, and then you're done for the day, and you come back and do it again. It's like, come on, there's better
yeah,
ways of doing this. There's better ways to do this.
yeah.
I can
And
only.
I was going to say, as a day trader, pinning yourself down to only a 5 minute opportunity is one
Yeah.
5 minute opportunity. There's a whole lot of day left, and
Yes,
you're
there
going to miss
is, Ben.
you're
You
you're
got
going to miss
23
something. You're
hours
going to
and
miss something that you'd really,
yeah,
really like to be in later on.
yes.
And again, that's part of that compounding psychology of, oh man, if I hadn't, risked so much this
Yes.
morning, I'd be around for this afternoon trade. And,
Yes.
you're just beating yourself up about it. So
Well said,
work
man.
on getting
Well
on the
said.
right track, Pinson. Reach out to the risk team. We're happy to work with you. That's what we're here for, is working with our live traders to make sure you're on the right path. I think we got just enough time to move on. I do want to highlight something really positive we've seen. If we could go to OWN, our last trading card for OWN. Really happy to see the trading that we've seen from OWN. OWN's trading a
Mhm.
50K XFA that just got called up to live. I was pumping my fist when I saw this trade report. There's 20 days traded, which is a pretty significant body to look at and evaluate from the risk team's perspective, especially when you're trading like this. In the 50K account, for those that may not be aware, your daily loss limit is $1,000,
Yep.
and OWN has not really even come close to that. The worst day that OWN has had was a $600 loser, and otherwise having a pretty significant winning day percentage. 70% winning days, 54% winning trades at almost a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio is fantastic. That is very steady, profitable trading. You're taking small, controlled losses. You're comfortable with being wrong. You will admit when you're wrong, and you're willing to walk away prior to hitting that daily loss limit. Those are big checks in your favor as far as the risk team is concerned. And we want to help enable those types of traders, empower those types of traders
Yep.
to continue to grow, because really, as far as I'm concerned, the sky's the limit with OWN. I don't have a whole lot of recommendations outside of, work with us and find ways to size up on your best trades, right? Identify what your best trades actually are and size up on those, because unlike the two traders we just highlighted, who have big spikes in their P&L, and then they a big canyon on that P&L curve on the other side. OWN has very shallow speed bumps. They have those
Love it.
spikes, capable of putting up a $2,000 day in the 50K account, and then very shallow drawdown on the days that they're drawing down. So overall, really steady, consistent trading. Happy that OWN is getting called up to that live account. Love the 50K account size for that
Absolutely.
reason, and we're really looking forward to having OWN as part of the live trading team here at Topstep.
Wow. Well, Ben, that does it for time. That was we just kept it moving right away, moving right along, I should say. This is one of the best trading cards you're going to see. This is a trading card that's going to set up for sustained success, and that's what the risk team's looking for. I'm not going to put words in their mouth, but I know this is the type of trading card that they're looking for. Move them live and expect great results out of someone like this. Ben, thank you so much for doing that. Shoulder tap was an absolute pleasure. This is our first time doing this, like you said. No, it was a pleasure doing it, and we're going to do it again. We do have Coming up on the other side of this little break, we do have, oh boy, we got JD and Ho group coaching. Also, real quick, we have submit at the top of the chat here, submit your submission for Roast My Trades. Roast My Trades is tomorrow. Everyone loves that segment on Fridays. We roast everyone's trades. If you're interested in getting your trades roasted, click the top there, and we'll do that tomorrow. But Ben, thank you. That's an absolute pleasure. Group coaching coming up next.